Just ahead on American Black Journal, a national education program is helping entrepreneurs create jobs and economic opportunity. Plus, fans of the secret society of twisted storytellers can now download podcasts of the popular show. Don't go away. American Black Journal starts now.
American Black Journal is funded by the W.K. Kellogg Foundation, a partner with communities where children come first.
How does diversity bring energy to us all? At DTE Energy, we believe that it's the contributions of all that build great communities. As a company, we grow stronger by welcoming the unique perspectives of everyone. As community members, we support our state's broad culture and heritage. From working closely with women and minority-owned suppliers to embracing our local cultures, DTE Energy is powering diversity. The DTE Energy Foundation is a proud sponsor of Detroit Public Television. Masco Corporation is proud to manufacture innovative and environmentally friendly products for the home. Delta Faucets, Craft Made in Maryland cabinets, and Behr brand paints have all been designed with you in mind. Masco and its family of companies, serving Michigan communities since 1929.
Ford has a long history of honoring the achievements of great men and women. We also recognize that honoring means ensuring their legacies are carried forward. 2018 marks the 50th anniversary of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s assassination. To continue his legacy, Ford is partnering with the King Center and encouraging everyone to perform 50 acts of kindness. Between now and August 28, go to mlk54.org and register your act of kindness. Add Ford in the group name, as Ford will recognize select actions from our Southeast Michigan community. Perform your simple act of kindness, and together we'll carry forward Dr. King's dream of creating a beloved community.
Welcome to American Black Journal. I'm Stephen Henderson. The Goldman Sachs 10,000 Small Businesses program is helping entrepreneurs across the country create jobs while taking their businesses to the next level. In Michigan, more than 350 small business owners have received training and support since the program debuted here in 2014. Here to tell us more is Camille Walker-Banks. She's Executive Director of the 10,000 Small Businesses program at Wayne State University. She is joined by two graduates of the program, Naila Ellis-Brown, founder of Ellis Infinity Beverage Company, and Harold Lazenby, who is founder of Infinite Technologies, LLC. Welcome to American Black Journal.
Thank you.
Yeah, so let's talk about 10,000 small businesses. What do you guys do, and what impact is it making on the landscape here?
So we've been in the Detroit market about 4 years now, and what we're doing is taking established business owners and training them to be better CEOs.
Mm-hmm. And to be bigger, right?
And to be bigger, absolutely. Yeah. The goal is to grow,
mm-hmm.
and we measure the growth of our business owners, and we stay in contact after they complete the program so that we can continue to help them grow and develop as
mm-hmm.
entrepreneurs.
So talk about some of the things that that you're teaching these business owners about being CEOs. And there's a difference between somebody who just owns a business mm-hmm. or operates it and somebody who is actually functioning as a CEO.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Very different opportunities and very different challenges. So what we do is bring all of these business owners 40 at a time mm-hmm. into a classroom, various industries, ages, sizes, and they're learning from each other. We're teaching financial statements. You know, what implications does one action have mm-hmm. on the rest of your financials? And that tends to be the scariest part of our program, but the most impactful because our business owners understand their financial situation. Yeah. The art of negotiations. Many of our business owners are already successful in their own right. So we're teaching them some new ways of negotiating, and it works. Mm-hmm. Operations, putting operations in place so that the business owner is able to work on the business rather than in the business. Yeah. That's our mantra. We also expose our business owners to various types of capital and lending opportunities and people, mm-hmm. as well as support services. We have a lot of technical assistance support in the state of Michigan, but finding what's relevant to a specific business owner is what we've been able to do.
Yeah, Yeah. So Naila, your company is called Ellis Infinity Beverage Company, but I think people would know you through what you guys actually are selling.
Yeah,
Talk
Ellis
about
Island
what you're
tea.
doing, right? You're selling Ellis Island tea.
Yep. So it's a company that I started about 10 years ago as a college dropout and selling tea out of my trunk.
Mm-hmm.
And then fast forward to today, we own a brand new state-of-the-art production operation, and we bottle for ourselves as well as other small beverage companies. And we are about to be nationally distributed through this huge opportunity that we just got with Sam's Club. So we'll be in around 1,000 stores across the country.
Wow, wow, that's a huge deal, right?
Thank you.
But so talk about how this program either helped you believe you could do this, or taught you how to sort of line the things up so it could happen.
I would say the biggest takeaway from the Goldman Sachs program was teaching me how to pull out of the business and focus on working on it versus in it. And so, for example, the first, there was a 3-month period. First of all, I signed up at a time where I had a lot going on. I just gotten pregnant. I had the morning sickness going on.
Oh, no.
And then I had to go to class because I don't sign up for stuff to not finish. And so with Goldman Sachs, it forced me to, I didn't step foot in the plant for 3 months. And in those 3 months that I didn't step foot in there, we made more money than we've ever made in my absence.
Wow.
And so it taught me, I didn't sign up.
It's kind of a humbling experience, right?
Yeah,
You're like, I'm gone, but you guys are doing better.
Yeah. And so I signed up for entrepreneurship for freedom. At the end of the day, why is entrepreneurship so important to me? Because it's my freedom. And originally, I started out hustling and slaving for the company. Well, I didn't sign up for this to slave for it for my whole life. And Goldman Sachs taught me how to pull out and be more free and to delegate.
Yeah. Tell us about your company.
Sure, thank you. Infinite Technologies, we provide safe and secure technology solutions to enhance our customers' expectations. We quite frankly allow you to not worry about the things that we take care of for you. That includes, number one, security surveillance cameras. Tell you about that in a minute, how I got into security surveillance. But that's one. Two, we provide IT service and support for small and medium-sized businesses. And number three, we provide telecommunications support for phone systems and phone system support, particularly call center. And that was our legacy product when we first started. So we've kind of pivoted and shifted and became more of a surveillance company now, in which there's very few African-American businesses.
I was going to say, in that space, that's sort of a white space. I mean,
absolutely.
through lots of history and all kinds of other barriers, right?
Stephen, I've attended several conferences over the last 5 or 6 years, and in some cases I was only one of a few.
You're the only one.
out of about 2,000. But I didn't look at that as a challenge. I looked at it as an opportunity to break into a new market that we were already doing IT service and support. So when surveillance started pivoting from analog to digital, it was a perfect set for us to fill into. And our business, quite frankly, has grown about 20% per year over the last 4 or 5 years. And it has a lot to do with Goldman Sachs and how they've helped us focus on our business.
Yeah.
We were kind of all over the board for a minute, and they really made us hone in and focus via the 5-year strategic program.
Yeah. I want each of you to talk quickly about challenges you still face, either as just as entrepreneurs, maybe as African-American entrepreneurs. We all know that that's a different experience than other folks have. What are the things that still sort of push you?
So challenges that I still face right now, the big opportunity that I got with Sam's Club was to be distributed every club in the country. That rollout is going to happen in about 5 days. That was no cakewalk. It took us 3-4 months just to fill the one purchase order.
Wow.
And finding good help. So my goal in opening up a production facility versus hiring a bottler, which would have been much cheaper for me, I wanted to provide jobs for those Detroit natives who look like me. And just everyone says they want to work, and then when you come in, there's just a lot of, the mentality needs a lot of work.
Yeah.
And so keeping people motivated everyone wants to get paid, but no one wants to put in the work to get paid. So that's, I would say, has been my biggest.
You sound like a business owner.
Yeah, I would say that's been my biggest challenge today.
Yeah, Harold?
I concur 100%.
Yeah.
You know, you almost become the business owner, the pastor, the counselor.
Yeah.
Wow. You got to deal with all the external problems as well that go along with good, talented people. But it is a challenge because we go out and get the business, but we're only as good as the people who go out and fulfill the business when we get the business done. So getting employees is probably the biggest challenge for us as well, because you literally do one of two things. You either hire free agents, which I call them because I'm a baseball guy, and you pay them more than what they're worth, or you have to build your farm team up. And that's what we've been doing, is working with a lot of young 1-2 year individuals that have 1 or 2 years experience and build them up to be real solid technicians. Yeah,
these are inspiring stories, and what it reminds me of is the sort of talent that exists out there in our community already, sort of doing the things that they need to do, but you guys are taking that and trying to, I guess, push it to the next level. And
the biggest challenge that I find our business owners, I mean, 67% of our business owners are growing within 6 months of graduating the program.
Wow.
But now they're looking for team.
Right.
Their capacity is expanding. They've identified new customers, but where they find the team, the work, the talent, and that's the biggest.
I mean, and that's an entirely different set of issues there, how we sort of grow talent locally and make sure people not just can identify opportunity, but make sure they're prepared for the opportunities where they are.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, congratulations on the program, and congratulations on your businesses, and especially going national. That is a huge deal.
Appreciate it.
Yeah. Thanks for being here as well. All right, up next, a podcast that shares Detroit stories with the world. But first, we continue our look back at episodes of this program over the last 50 years. Here's an excerpt from a 1980 show about African-American art.
There are several schools of Afro-American art. We have the Afro-Cobra School. This school, they're basically militant. They're fighting for black rights. They tend to think that the arts should be used as a vehicle to fight for one's purposes. However, you find this in many societies. Even in the Mexican society, Rivera and different artists like that, they use their art to fight for the country's freedom. However, you still have the aesthetic group of Afro-American artists that simply paint flowers, abstractions, and some just simply paint aesthetic themes that have nothing to do with social practices or politics. So there's a dichotomy between the two styles.
Is that existing today in terms of some of the contemporary artists?
Yeah, in fact, that's exactly what I'm speaking of. Early on in the country, you had artists basically painting the same things. Until the Harlem Renaissance period came, blacks came together and they realized that they wanted to appreciate themselves and their culture. Then you had the reflecting back to Africa. People like Aaron Douglas, you know, he painted a lot of the African styles and motifs. So many of the artists at that point decided that we wanted to see what our heritage was, and we didn't have to emulate white America and their styles.
Detroit public radio station WDET has launched its second season of the Twisted Storytellers podcast. It's an audio series of live performances by Detroiters who tell funny, real-life stories about family, diversity, and personal experiences. The shows take place at the Charles H. Wright Museum. Take a look.
It was July 1967. I was in the back seat of my dad's Cadillac, and flanked on each side of me was my mom and my sister-in-law, Dolores. Driving was my brother, who's 20 years my senior, Charles, and my dad was in the passenger seat. We were headed southbound on Linwood toward Vinewood. There was chaos and noise and fire. I wanted to say something so bad because I thought if we got too close to the fire, we would explode. But back then, children didn't interject into adult conversations. As we approached the deli and the restaurant that my parents owned and operated, there was a woman who looked familiar to me. She was wielding a butcher knife. She told my daddy, "Shug, don't worry, not the black businesses. You take your family on home. I got this." It was the last time that we were even that close. We never returned to the restaurant and deli, to the temple of my familiar, the place where the people were loving and kind and ate and drank and had a great time. They would allow me to stand on the table and sing Chain of Fools by Aretha Franklin, and they would just cheer me on. But after that summer, we never went back. And my father went into real estate after that. My neighborhood also began to change, one house at a time. We were the second Black family to live on that block on Appeline, and next door to us were the McFattens. Mr. McFadden was a city councilman, and his wife was a school teacher. She was a great-granddaughter of the first African-American to attend and graduate from West Point. But actually, he was kicked out of West Point because once they found out he was Black, they cut him and hog-tied him, and they said that he did it to himself, and it was Bill Clinton who posthumously gave him the honor. Well, that summer in July 1967, up until then, all the friends in my community were Jewish who considered themselves white. And one by one, they moved. So by September of 1968, when it was time for me to go to kindergarten, they were all gone. I remember being in the household of the last family that left directly across the street. There was busyness and there was this assurance that they would come back and visit. All I had was questions. But for every family that moved out, a new family moved in, a Black family, with children, some my age. I saw a girl across the street, and I asked my mom, could I go over there and introduce myself? Well, back then, kids could do that. And I said, hi, my name is Lisa, what's yours? She said, Charlie Brown. Ask me again, I'll knock you down.
And joining me now is the show's host and founder of the Secret Society of Twisted Storytellers, Satori Shakur. Welcome to American Black Journal.
Thank you, Stephen.
It's good to see you here. I should say we also both work for WDET, so we see each other there every once in a while, on good days, right? So this is really one of my favorite programs and institutions around town, the idea of getting people together to tell and share stories. Tell us about season 2.
I'm so excited about season 2. I'm excited that season 2 is even a 2.
Right, that it's here, right? Yes, that we made it.
Yeah, these stories are global stories.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very diverse cast of storytellers. We have 6 storytellers from very different backgrounds telling stories that sometimes span internationally. Mm-hmm. But they're all, they deal with culture, they deal with race, they deal with very tough they're traveling while Iranian American. Mm-hmm. They deal with different topics, how I learned about race. They deal with different things, but they're all approached through a point of view or a lens of humor, which, you know, people say, I had to laugh to keep from crying.
Right.
Well, they're not painful stories, but they could be painful stories because laughter and tears are very close together on the spectrum of human emotion.
Yeah, and one of the things I feel like you're doing is helping people, you know, make that leap over the pain to see the humor and to be able to sort of enjoy that and then maybe better understand where the pain comes from.
Yeah, well, it's my greatest joy in working with the storytellers to support them in crafting the story. I bring the basics of the craft to their story, and so I get to know people very intimately. You know, I get to ask them questions, dig in their lives, and bring out whatever is magnificent about them, or just keep them on the theme. But that's the privilege I have in this whole journey, and to help people over that pain, because some people come and they haven't gotten over that guilt, that anger, and by just telling their stories a number of times, they begin to see, oh, it's just a story. It's not who I am. It's something that I can address and grow through and uplift.
Yeah. In the clip there, we heard a story about somebody's family restaurant and what happened to it in 1967. I feel like your project also just unearths all of this emotion around events and memories that we all have, but are sort of different for each of us. And that was such a wonderful example of it. So many people remember 67 and what came after, and to hear it told through that person's personal experience is just, it's really amazing.
Well, that's the value of it. I mean, I was around in '67, but I wasn't adult enough or grown enough to perceive what was really happening. And in '67, people didn't get a chance to tell their stories publicly about it. You had to tell your story or keep your angst or your anger or frustration in the little pockets of your community. And so there was a lot to unleash, a lot to reveal. And so when the city took on this whole Detroit 1967, we had to take it on.
Right.
And we had people that were in the little, what do you call them, the after hours place.
Right, the blind pig.
In the blind pigs and on the paddy wagons, and so for them to tell their stories and just to be with them as they're crafting the story, and the tears and the pain that people don't see all of what I see, share all of what I share, but what we do get up on that stage is the wisdom of that lived experience, and hopefully that impacts people positively, helps them grow, gives them information they didn't have before, and above all, heal and transform into leaders so that they can take responsibility and accountability for their streets, for their communities, and for their lives.
Yeah. There is also something really special about storytelling as it pertains to sort of African American traditions and legacies. You've managed to take that though and open it up and sort of widen the gaze and the acceptability of it to people from all kinds of backgrounds. That's another really, I think, important part of what you're doing.
Well, I believe that storytelling is community therapy. It is built-in therapy for societies. Every culture, ancient, brought their stories forward. We're America and our 21st century sort of, there are other people that tell our stories, media or news that tell our stories, and sometimes they exclude all the different points of view.
Right.
Like Adichie says, the danger of a single story.
Right.
So when I do a theme, I hear 4 or 5 stories on that theme from different points of view, and it's like being in a university, in a classroom at a university, and learning the history of Detroit, but more importantly, the history of humanity. And that not much has changed since the first human being, not that I was around then, but humans are humans, and storytelling is a way that we process our experience. And so as a little kid, when you lean forward to hear the teacher tell the story, or you put your ear around the corner to hear, what are those people talking about in the room?
Right.
It's all, we carry that childlike fascination for stories, and we want to hear them.
What about the power of art? Right now, I mean, what you're doing is creating art, or I should say, you're helping people to create art. I feel like we're at a really special moment for that kind of creation.
Yes. Well, I think the world, and particularly the United States, which impacts every corner of the world, we're in a story or a moment of shift. I love stories, and so The Walking Dead is one of my favorite because it has all the elements of powerful, good storytelling. And it's a fight over Negan or Rick, who's going to own the world, who's going to own the direction of the world. And I feel like that's where we are now. We're struggling over, are we going to have values? Are we going to have humanity, kindness? Or are we going to just be corporate, and we're going to just take the money, and we're going to be like lies and truth? It's all, hey, I heard Rudy Giuliani sort of validate lying in the 21st century. Well, and I'm like, well, how do we live and grow and develop as a society, as a world, if we don't find a foundation of truth? So storytelling is one way to put all these stories together and somehow approach maybe a truth.
That's a great way to put that you were sort of re-injecting truth into the narrative and the conversation.
Well, I don't know about truth, but an honest approach, or a way that we see things that collectively we can look and say, oh yeah, that happened. It took a long time for us to even believe that African American men were getting shot or pulled over by police.
Until we could see it.
Phil Donahue, Oprah, yes, they're doing this. Oh no, they can't be, because they're not doing it to me. And now we have the technology to see.
We all see it. All right. Well, congratulations on season 2.
Thank you.
Thanks for being here.
Thank you so much, Stephen.
That's our program for today. Thanks for watching. You can get more information about our guests at AmericanBlackJournal.org, and you can always connect with us on Facebook and on Twitter. We'll see you next time.
As American Black Journal looks ahead at the next 50 years, we want to hear from you, the viewers. Tell us what you think of this program and what you'd like to see on future episodes. Visit AmericanBlackJournal.org to take a quick survey and share your opinion. Thank you.
American Black Journal is funded by the W.K. Kellogg Foundation, a partner with communities where children come first.
How does diversity bring energy to us all? At DTE Energy, we believe that it's the contributions of all that build great communities. As a company, we grow stronger by welcoming the unique perspectives of everyone. As community members, we support our state's broad culture and heritage. From working closely with women and minority-owned suppliers to embracing our local cultures, DTE Energy is powering diversity. The DTE Energy Foundation is a proud sponsor of Detroit Public Television. Masco Corporation is proud to manufacture innovative and environmentally friendly products for the home. Delta faucets, craft-made in Merillat cabinets, and Behr brand paints have all been designed with you in mind. Masco and its family of companies, serving Michigan communities since 1929.
Ford has a long history of honoring the achievements of great men and women. We also recognize that honoring means ensuring their legacies are carried forward. 2018 marks the 50th anniversary of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s assassination. To continue his legacy, Ford is partnering with the King Center and encouraging everyone to perform 50 acts of kindness. Between now and August 28, go to mlk54.org and register your act of kindness. Add Ford in the group name, as Ford will recognize select actions from our Southeast Michigan community. Perform your simple act of kindness, and together we'll carry forward Dr. King's dream of creating a beloved community.